Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals and welcome to Game 2 of this best of 3. It's from the Go for SC2 Cup. Let me introduce these two amazing players. In the lower left, we do have the yellow Zerg. It is LoWeLy. His opponent in the top right, the green Zerg, it is One. And of course in Game 1 we did see One. And that was a pun that I failed at making, but it was really funny in my head when I said it, so I hope someone at least chuckled a little bit, or maybe even just smirked. I'd settle for a smirk in that situation, most definitely. Now, Game 1, I think it's fair to say, we saw a pretty epic macro-orientated ZvZ game. None of these Ling Bling wars, which is just like super micro and someone loses after 10 minutes. It was proper, I'm gonna macro, I'm gonna make drones, roaches, hydras, infestors. We even saw LoWeLy, being the boss he is, try and go for some broodlords. Unfortunately though, the superior upgrades for One just allowed him to start rolling forward. He hit that critical timing where if your opponent is trying to go broodlords, they don't have the money or army to keep trading with you, and if you've got the upgrade advantage, a larger army size, and your fungals are still good, then you're gonna win that engagement. And when you do win, you're going to be pretty damn happy about it. So, going into Game 2 on Daybreak, it looks like we're going to see a hatch first out of LoWeLy. That's the first difference to Game 1, of course. In Game 1, we did see both players decide to go for the pool, then hatch. But Game 2, it looks like both super economical. None of that thinking from One that, hey, I'm a game up, let's just 6 pool. Which just means that it's good news for us viewers, because I don't know about you, but I like longer Zerg games. Actually, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you like long, macro-orientated ZvZs, or do you love that super intense action that is Ling Bling Wars? And if you answer the Ling Bling Wars, you obviously have never been involved in one. Having played a lot of Zerg, it is so stressful. Seriously, Ling Bling Wars are like, seriously, open heart surgery is less stressful than doing that, I can assure you. Now, looking here, Extractor coming down for One. So again, this is similar to what the trend we saw coming down in Game 1. There was, of course, One deciding to go for the earlier Extractor slightly sooner than LoWeLy got, which means that theoretically LoWeLy should get out a few more drones. It means the One should get speed out slightly sooner. But then, of course, we saw in Game 1 that speed not really being used for anything. Zerglings did not play a massive role in the previous game, so maybe they will this time. We can only hope and dream that they will. Now, in terms of what else is coming down, we do of course have the gas now started for LoWeLy. We've got just continual droning from both players actually, with neither getting any Zerglings as of yet, just getting the double queen down. We can see from their vision that they both know what's happening. Meanwhile, obviously, you know this base is down just by the creep being there, and you've seen the gas timing and everything. There isn't a gas timing spot yet. Oh no, there was! Actually, I take that back. One has spotted the gas, so both players completely aware of what the other is doing. And this is what scouting's all about. You need to know, are there expansions, is there gas, and what tech they've got early on. And seeing that one gas, you know that my opponent is going to be getting speed early. I need to get speed early. The next big thing you need to try and find out is it going to be, as LoWeLy's going, a rush to roaches, or are there going to be any banelings? Because banelings and speedlings are what are always going to be your concern in the early game, because if your opponent gets a good number of Zerglings out and you only have a handful of roaches, then it's not going to go too well. So, hopefully, we won't see that sort of situation, or maybe we do hope. This is a really quite an early lair. This is a really early lair timing. My goodness, that is super quick. This is exciting. That came down at like 5 minutes 20-ish. That is a lot sooner than we're going to see it for LoWeLy. This is most likely just going to be with the second gas. If we see a third gas come down sooner, a roach warren, but no, it's going to be a baneling nest. Oh my goodness, the banelings are coming down. This is fun. This is super fun. The roach warren just now getting spotted though, so knows precisely what LoWeLy has got planned. Is the baneling nest going to be allowed to finish? This is what I'm waiting to see, because that's not going to have roaches, and if you're going for that quick lair, it can lead to some quite exciting things. We've got the additional third and fourth coming down for both players now, so this is going up to 4 of 4 gas off of 2 bases for both of these two powerhouse Zergs right now, and as a result, they're going to be able to tech really heavily. LoWeLy only starting his lair a few seconds before One's finishes. One, of course, is now going to be just, well, we're just looking to see what he's going to get down, because if he gets a Spire, that means the muta play, which is very viable on this map. There's some dead space around here, dead space around here. It also gives you map vision, and just as I thought, Aspire does indeed hit. How is LoWeLy going to respond? He doesn't know it's there yet, but he is also getting up his 4 gas and his lair. When that lair completes, is he going to just go straight towards infestors as he did in the first game? Or is he going to go for mutas as well? Are we going to see some muta on muta action? That would be so awesome. One though, he's getting down quite a few spine crawlers at the front. This is essential whenever you are going for a 2-base muta play, because the last thing you want is your opponent just to think, do you know what? I've got more roaches than you have, I'm going to just come and kill you, because of course mutas do not engage head on very well at all. The evolution chamber has been spotted. That evolution chamber straight away gives away that the fact it's researching that my opponent is probably teching straight up to roach infestor, the infestation pick coming down there as well now. If you were going muta, you wouldn't get that evolution chamber, and specifically you wouldn't get the +1 missile attack, because you wouldn't want to spend the gas on something that isn't going to be a main part of your army. So now coming in, we see LoWeLy, or we see One running around with those speedlings. He's taking his 3rd base as well, which may actually throw LoWeLy slightly off tact, because he's only just taking his own 3rd now. And this 3rd is always going to be a vulnerability, especially when we don't see any infestors out for a long time. It's going to be a long period until they come, because pathogen glands can only start once the infestation pit is finished, which was now. And as a result, the only anti-air on the field are those two, the 2 queens for LoWeLy. 2 queens against 10 mutas is obviously a very nice position for the Zerg, for the green Zerg to be in. Coming across now, we do see that the single overlord is there. These roaches potentially going to go down. So many other overlords over the map. They are all free pickings to mutalisks at the moment. In comes now this single overseer. Is going to spot that, hey, my opponent is only just getting a roach roaring and an evolution chamber now. Maybe it's mutas. He spotted them. He's dropping down the spore crawlers ASAP. But the queen getting focused, and when you've got this many mutalisks, there is not going to be too much you can do about it. The queen's going down as well means that its production is going to be hurt very badly. The spore not getting focused yet, so we'll be allowed to complete. That doesn't really matter though when you're just picking away at all of these drones. The overlord's trying to go down as well now, but unfortunately some of those mutas still in range of the spore crawlers, needs to pull them back and does manage to do so here. But look at this, a mass speedling push into the 3rd base. This is the sort of counter-attack you always have to be concerned about when you go for mutas. The mutas are on their way back ASAP. Some banelings trying to morph in. Are they going to get some good connections? That is the most important thing. The roaches are coming, so they could try and snipe them off ASAP. Of course, the mutas will clean all of this up, but it's just what damage can be done before that point. The banelings getting focused perfectly by LoWeLy right there. And of course, he kept all of his speedlings alive. That 3rd hatchery is no doubt going to die. It's buying LoWeLy time to get his infestors out. It's buying LoWeLy time to get spore crawlers out and to replace the queens, and losing that 3rd base is a big loss for One. He's got to go and retaliate. He's got to take this base out, because otherwise he is going to get quite a long way behind economically. These overlords, of course, free pickings won't supply block the yellow Zerg player quite yet, but when they do, and if more die, they've got to be replaced. That's 100 minerals a go, and also that lava, which is oh so important, especially when you've lost queens and your production may not be as high as that of your opponent. For the moment, we do see these mutalisks are running around, just taking a quick look. Where are the overlords? Where can I pick any more off? We see one here. We also should see that go down. Otherwise, there aren't any others on the field, so this is the last 3 over that basically One can take. You got one there. This is now supply block LoWeLy, and that's going to hurt his production. We see the queens coming forward. Got to make sure that the mutas don't clump up, because otherwise a fungal growth is going to ruin them. 3 getting caught there with a fungal, and with the infested Terrans, they're trying to pick them off. One falls, the second one should go down as well, but luckily for One, gets managed micro back. We see LoWeLy just now ending that supply block by getting a couple more overlords out. One is trying to retake his 3rd base, and of course, if we look at the worker count, he's still massively ahead of LoWeLy in terms of that economy. It's just because LoWeLy hasn't been able to produce many drones recently, but is now going to. He's getting 11 at a time. That should catch him up quite nicely here. And if we look at the actual worker supply, it's now a lot closer than it was previously, and as such, I'd say that's reset pretty evenly. Once you've got 3 bases apiece, once the drone count is pretty similar, it doesn't really matter that this base went down previously. But what does matter though is the fact that we've got the 4th coming down for One. It's going to be a vulnerability. We still have these mutas trying to pick off a few more things, but of course a couple dying there as well. The muta count now down to 5, so one has lost quite a few of these. He needs to make sure that he's dealing some good damage and trading effectively. And for the moment he is. Both players losing very similar amounts of resources throughout this game, and being a similar economic position between the two of them, it means that this game is incredibly close. Similar economy, similar tech, similar base count and similar drone count and similar army count and similar losses means that this game is really, really close. Both players getting that Hydra within a couple of seconds of each other. Upgrades is something we haven't touched on yet. It is 1-0 for LoWeLy, compared to 1, if I can find one of his roaches, is 1-0 as well. So they're both the same on upgrades as well. I cannot emphasize enough how close this is. This 4th base is the biggest difference happening so far. It means better production for the Green Zerg. It means better income. And also, it means that he is just staying fractionally ahead now. But if we look at the army supply, it tells just how close this is. We can see these two really neck and neck throughout this game. We've got the 7th and 8th gas coming down now for 1. And really, LoWeLy isn't in a position to put on too much pain for the moment. He's getting out those Hydras, both players getting the range upgrade. The Muta's trying to get a couple of shots off, forcing a fungal growth and some infested Terrans. And that leaves just the 3 Mutas remaining on the field, and I'm not even quite sure where they are at the moment. If we switch over here, they're probably flying around somewhere. There we go. So these 3 Mutas just happily chilling, happily biding their time, because all their friends have died, and Mutas in low numbers aren't very good at anything. So, as we can see here, +1 carapace coming down now for LoWeLy. That is him potentially getting ready to take an upgrade advantage. He does, for the moment, have 2-0 compared to 1-0. But by the time the push comes, it's only 80 seconds away 2-0 for 1. So it's unlikely. Obviously, if LoWeLy moved over right now, which he is pushing forward to, he will engage before that occurs. But LoWeLy is sitting there. He's got an army advantage. He's got the infestor count advantage by 1. But then there's the defender's advantage for the Green Zerg. The longer LoWeLy delays this, the closer the upgrades will become. And once +2 kicks in, with this great spread engaging on a ramp here, maybe we will see a brilliant hold. There goes a massive fungal growth hitting. Infested Terrans coming down for both parties. They're going to be dealing damage. They're going to be soaking up damage. The majority of the infested Terrans are going down for LoWeLy at the moment. And unfortunately, the fungal growth hits yet again on all of LoWeLy's infestors. We saw this in the first game. And as such, we see some good damage being dealt. The reinforcements streaming in for 1 right now. The supply advantage still there for LoWeLy, but he does not have enough units on the field right this second to continue this push. And as such, 1 has bought himself a little time. But is it going to be enough time? He's got +2 now. That kicked in during the engagement, which really did help. The fungal growths really helped as well for 1. So, as we can see, yet again, in terms of the worker count, it's 77 to 71 in LoWeLy's favour, but this 4th base is up and running. That should mean that we have a higher gas income for 1 compared to LoWeLy, and indeed it does. That gas is going to be so critical going into the late game. But if we look up at the resources, actually quite a lot of minerals banked for both players. LoWeLy now double expanding, knowing that that base is already complete and mining, knowing he's got to take a bit of an economical risk by taking the double expand. But that is precisely what you want to be doing here. LoWeLy does still have the 20 supply advantage, and he also has the +1 carapace, so yet again is getting into a position where he does have the upgrade advantage. So, looking around this map, there's not much else coming out. No player trying to tech up to Hive yet, or anything crazy like that. Just staying on Roach, Hydra, Infestor. The army sizes, or at least the supply, exactly equal now. Former army supply for 1. But I do believe he has less Hydras, indeed he does. And that just means that there's going to be slightly less damage output, but slightly more ability to soak up the damage. And look at this, LoWeLy coming around from behind, but a good fungal growth hits. A better attack angle at the moment for 1. He needs to engage this army very well. We can see that he has got a great surface area. He's arching around. LoWeLy losing so much stuff right now. The fungal growths were just brilliant for the Green Zerg here, and as such we have got a pretty dominating battle going down, and all of LoWeLy's forces getting cleaned up. He lost quite a bit more in that engagement, about 1,200 more resources, and of course these 2 infestors desperately trying to scuttle their way back. But we can see the roaches pushing forward. This 4th base for LoWeLy potentially going to go down here. He's not going to get those 30 additional roaches out in time to save it, I doubt. And this is a bit of a loss. But luckily for LoWeLy, he has an additional base up to the top, but he needs to be careful not to reveal that. but the drone's going up there. I don't know if one will pick up on that, but it looks like he will. He's moving up there. He sees the creep spread. If LoWeLy loses that top base, he is going to be very, very far behind, because he'll be back down to 3 bases to the 4 of 1. And indeed, it has now been spotted. This top hatchery going to get taken out. There is no way these roaches will be able to come back up in their own time, and there it does fall. And now one on the equal upgrade yet again. One base up. And of course, with a larger army, we see the engagement. Another beautiful fungal for 1. He gets another great big hit. So many roaches getting taken down here. The surround coming in from 1. And I think with this, there will be the GG. And there we go. 1 takes this series 2-0 in what were 2 incredible ZvZ games. I thoroughly enjoyed them, and I hope each and every one of you did. Remember, like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe. I get new games up every day of the week, so I hope to see each and every one of you back tomorrow to watch some more awesome StarCraft 2 action. Thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.